Bau unserer Yachten haben wir das Wesentliche immer im Blick. Die Qualität. Mit jahrzehntelanger Erfahrung und einem hohen Anspruch an Präzision entsteht die pure Freude am Yachting. Qualität muss dort sein, wo sie jeder Eigner mit all seinen Sinnen erlebt, sieht, fühlt und spürt. Und dafür geben wir jeden Tag unser Bestes. We are Bavaria.
Hi everybody and welcome to our special live streaming event here live from Giebelstadt, from one of the most famous shipyards here in Germany, for everyone who had ever been connected to sailboats, to charter boats from Bavaria. It's a pleasure for me to welcome all of you here from the cradle, where all these famous boats you can see in the background, the ones you see all through the charter world, all through the Mediterranean, worldwide, of course, they are built here. And we have a special opportunity to ask those who are the heads, and not only the heads, also the hands behind it, all the team from Bavaria. And it's a pleasure. But first, before we talk about special models, everything, just one or two simple instructions for you. If you want to join our discussion, just drop one or another question in the Q&A function you find on this Zoom conference, and we will be happy to answer. If we won't answer them now on our stream, you will be able to receive an email from us where we give you a detailed answer as far as this question is to be answered. And I'd like to introduce to you Markus Schlichting, who is the head of marketing and is responsible for marketing and communications here at Bavaria. Markus, first of all, thanks for hosting us tonight here.
Welcome.
You're here at Bavaria since, I think, 8 years now.
Yes.
But the shipyard's history is really, really a longer one. And what has been, let's say, a consistent idea behind Bavaria throughout the years? What remained always the same idea, the same spirit?
So the shipyard was founded in 1978 by Winfried Hermann. And you from this area, you see no ocean here, no sea, maybe a small river just 10 kilometers away. So it was a funny idea from him to found the shipyard in the, let's say, on the green field. But if you look on the map of Europe, you will see we are really in the center. We're focused in the heart of Europe. So if you imagine that we all transport our boats by truck, so it's nearly the same distance to the north like to the south. And the vision of Winfried Hermann was to build boats in a high quality with a high engineering process, with an efficient production, let's say, to a fair price. And this was his vision, and he did it. And this brings him the nickname, the Henry Ford of the yacht industry at that time.
Okay.
And if you see now around here, we have an area of 200,000 square meters, and the plant is around about 70,000 square meters. And we have our own lamination, we have our own joinery here. What you see in the background, we have 4 of these lanes, 125 meters long, where we build the boats, where we assemble the boats.
Just some information, how many people are working here at Bavaria? Here in
At the
Giebelstadt?
moment, around about 700.
Okay.
Around about 700. And yes, we found a lot of new colleagues in the last 2 years. So now we have around about 700. And as you see here, maybe in the background, this is really efficient production, which means it's like on the production lane. And this, as I said before, was the vision. And yes, I think that success tells everybody.
Yeah.
It tells everything about our boats.
Let's be honest, who did never meet a Bavaria anywhere where he went sailing, anywhere in the Mediterranean, or even worldwide, I guess you can meet them. You mentioned that like 2 years ago. We were talking about 30 years ago right now, and let's get back to the last 2 years. Of course, we all had to deal with this big major topic in the whole industry anywhere, since the charters and ships manufacturer. Of course, there was COVID and all the consequences. But from the yacht building industry, what we see, a hype. Let's say not a hype, but a certain kind of, yeah. No, it's a hype. Let's call it that. Is it this case in Bavaria?
Yes.
Bavaria?
Yes. But to be honest, the hype started end of 2019 already.
Okay.
So, but the pandemic gave a big boost to that. So let's say after the first shock in 2020 and then in April, May, suddenly the order came in like every day.
Okay.
And a lot. And I think because many people have the wish to spend their time on their own boat. And if you see, let's say around about 80% of our boats stay in Europe, Mediterranean, Atlantic coast, wherever, you can go by car to your boat. This was very important, I think, for a lot of owners.
Of course, no potential travel restrictions,
Yes,
nothing that could come their way.
I think everybody remember the time, no flights, and a lot of lockdowns. And the wish of the owners were there to have their own boat, to stay on the boat and just enjoy the time instead of traveling to hotels and whatever.
I mean, more, let's say, private owners, more charter owners. Did the charter fleets grow? I mean, of course, I have to ask this as a member of a charter company.
More and more private owners,
came
in because of the travel restricted or caused by the travel restrictions. You know, your business was locked for a couple of times as well. So we get a lot of more private owners than we had before.
I mean, it's not so nice to talk about that such a lot of problems right now, but I think it's what happens here everywhere. At the moment, you hear about shortages on delivering supply chains, delivery times are growing, let's say, and I think you have a lot of supply chains and other things working in place here. So, did you experience anything in the past?
For sure, the calculation is very simple. More boats ordered, not only with Bavaria, the whole yacht industry is completely booked. Then you need more equipment, more material. And let's say in special parts, we have only in the whole yacht industry, maybe 2 or 3 suppliers. And then everybody wants parts from them. And they couldn't double their production from one day to another. Like we cannot double our production from one day to the other. So there was a big run on all the materials. And maybe you saw it outside. We have now a big storage for equipment and stuff, just to be safe, to have everything right on time when we build the boats.
So you were well adapted, let's say, to the situation that was coming.
Yeah, for sure. There were some parts you never expected before. The supplier gave you Friday phone call. I cannot come next week because I'm missing steel parts.
Okay.
And then you have to communicate with them, and then you can mostly solve the problem. But for sure, we affected, like all industries, I think, by fragile supply chains. But at the moment, keep the fingers crossed.
everything is running fine. Glad to hear. When we take a look at, let's say, also the models that were developed during this time. Right now we have I think the newest line, I mean, I can tell you what we have the most see in charter fleets of the world. It's cruisers with a 40. Let's say this is, for us, from a statistical point of view, it's the most chartered boat. Yeah, it's the most chartered boat for us. I mean, the cruiser is is a classical line, let's say, and an older line. What is your impression?
Timeless.
Yeah, timeless, of course, a timeless classic. This you have to say, a timeless classic. What is your impression on the latest line? I think the C line is what where we see the latest models coming in the market.
Yeah, we already had before the C45 and it's C50 and C57. But start of 2020, we introduced the C42, and she won Yacht of the Year award. And then in 2021, we developed the C38. So, and if you see now outside, a lot of boats C38 and C42 are still
Sure. What's the first
Already
thing when I
waiting.
entered your yacht here?
Already
Was
waiting
red
to pick up
38, of course.
for the new
Yeah.
owner. So
Sure. Maybe there's a good idea. Thank you for at this point, Marcus, so far. Let's have a look maybe at the famous sea line we were talking about.
Bavaria yachts can be found everywhere in the charter areas. Actually, you will definitely meet them when chartering, because for good reasons they make up an immense proportion of the charter boats in the Mediterranean. Currently in focus, the Sea Line. Number 1, the C45. 13.60 meters hull length, a slender-looking superstructure and a distinct feel-good factor. Clear lines, clear design also on deck. A safe all-rounder that also can be sailed fast at times. The holiday version, by the way, with up to 5 cabins, is ideal for charter trips in a group or with several families. The C42 consistently follows this development, an innovative hull form with clearly defined chines, the best sailing characteristics and a lot of space below deck. It is for a reason that the 42 has been given the award European Yacht of the Year 2021. And as the newest member of the Sea Line family, the C38. Great sailing characteristics meet deliberately simple handling and plenty of space for a boat of this length.
So, and now as you can see, when we start to talk more about products, more about product lines, of course, we invite someone who's responsible in the product management.
Right.
I like to welcome David Goede here today.
Thank you.
David, nice to have you here. I mean, you are, let's say, somehow formed here also at Bavaria, or let's say built here at Bavaria. You started here your career as a boat building.
Right. I started 2018 here and learned for 3 years to become boat builder. And I graduated last year, September. And since then, I was straight in the product management, where I'm a proud team member.
Sounds like a dream, to be honest, for everybody who's interested in yachting, in ships, and in nautical stuff. Yeah. Just one short question before, what's so fascinating about what you do right now to be really in this part of the company, in this part of the process, let's say?
One of the favorite things I'm doing is to create new things and get my own touch with it. So I can ask the market and ask the whole dealers, the team, the marketing, and so on. And after I get all these information, I'm able to get new details into the new boat, and that's where I'm very proud for.
Of course, you can be. Of course, if I take a look at what's happening around here. Let's look at the latest series.
Yes.
Let's say the Sea Line. What is something that particularly catches the eye of anyone who sees it, who's around here?
I think if you look on the latest Sea Line, you can see a very big point which was focused on is the easy handling. All our boats should be easy handled and good sailing characteristics anyway. And also, if the wind blows a little bit harder, you need a good access for maintenance. That's also a very big point for us, which you could see in the new Sea Line. And also high quality in every part of the equipment. You can have a look on the masts, which are from Zeldin, from Sweden, or the sails from Elvstrøm in Denmark, winches, Luma, England, and also our navigational system is from B&G. So I think high quality is also very, very focused.
Are there a lot of owners, or let's say, who are like single-handed sailors? Or I mean, for them, it's the most important thing to get in touch, to do maintenance easily when you're alone on your boat. Is this someone you have in mind when you think about all the stuff you mentioned before, like all the innovations, all the techniques, let's say?
For sure, for sure. I think every kind of sailor needs to be focused and should suit on our boats. So also big crews with charter, they have the possibility to have the winches more separately, but also our boats come with single-handed sheeted, and there are, I think, all options suitable.
Let's talk innovation, let's say. Of course, a field where innovations are rising right now from sustainability aspects, from all other aspects, let's say, material.
Yeah.
Is there anything that played an important role in the past there? Or let's say not in the past, in the recent years?
Yeah.
Let's go like that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if we develop new boats, first we always have a look in our own storage, for sure. So let's look in the Bavaria toolbox, which items are already proved good. And so if we use the same products and items in some boats, we are also able to produce them more easier. And we can also get better prices in our supply chain, and would like to give these good prices to our customers. But for sure, we always have an eye on the market and let's see what happens, where are the trends, and but we always need to test and focus, because our boats are, for example, in the charter market, 21 weeks or more in a year.
Yeah.
In
Sailing, yeah.
Yeah, right. So they need to be proved very good, and the quality is on a very high level.
If we take a look into the development, let's say, of a new model, of a new line, of anything, to what extent is a new model something like a compromise? I mean, you are now the developing guy, you come from maybe a bit more technical background, let's say, and from the developers that have, let's say, ideas and the expectations of the future owners, for example.
Yeah. So we work together with Sailogy Yacht Design from Italy, and he's not only famous for designing very beautiful and good sailing boats, he's also very good informed about Syria yachts and production, which is very important. I mean, we have here up to 30 stations in the production line, and every move in these stations must be planned, and also in the developing must be perfect. So this is something which is very important. But on the other hand, we also have to keep in mind that all these boats are used in the free time and on the holidays, where every customer don't want to do any compromises. So that's always the thing which we need to know. And when we develop them, the new boats, we not only discuss with the Sailogy Yacht Design team, and we also discuss with our construction side, with the marketing, the sales team. Also get
everybody's involved, let's say, to get a different perspectives and everything.
Yeah, we need to get the information from the dealers and the customers, and this feedback will get into the boats.
What's one of your most, let's say, favorite details of that's part of the, let's take the C38, let's take the latest one. Is there any detail where you say, wow, that's something
I think it's sure for sure the design, the hull, I mean the V-bow and the chines, which is very famous for the new sea line, and that makes the whole boat looks very modern and very sporty. And you can also see the sailing characteristics of the new C38. I mean, if you have a look on the Norway race, the Skagen race, that we have one dealer who take part with our C38. So that's also very nice feature, or characteristic of the C38 that the sailing characteristics are so sporty. That's I really like.
Okay, this is a question maybe I shouldn't ask, but I'll do. What's your favorite? Like, you like the smaller ones, or are you more a 40 feet, 45 upward guy?
Okay, for me,
Okay, it's getting personal now.
but I really like to be on the boat with friends, and would like to be with my friends in the holiday and the sun. So I'm looking for the I think 45 feet
Okay,
boat.
so C45 would be
Yeah,
something you could
yeah,
easily go with.
best one.
Okay, but if we talk about what is the most popular series for sailors all around,
Yeah.
I guess we'll invite one of your colleagues here,
Yeah.
Yannick, who's already waiting. I guess maybe we could also answer the first questions that came in from from our viewers here today. So thanks at this point, and
Thank you too. Okay.
let's have a look. And for me, it's a pleasure to introduce to you Yannick Zirk, who is let's say key account specialist here at Bavaria, right? You are a key account manager for a certain region.
Yes, I'm the key account manager for Australia, New Zealand, China. So all countries far away.
Okay,
This is my region. So yeah, I've started like 1.5 years ago at Bavaria. Have some longer experience in boating industry. So
okay.
have also done a traineeship as a boat builder. So I'm also
You
from
know
the
what you're
technical side.
talking about, right? Okay, so that's
So-
nice to give us some authentic
Yes,
communication here.
exactly.
Perfect.
So
Great. So this is a region for me as a classical Mediterranean charter guy, not the typical ones, but interesting. But I think there's something. Is it? Can you take a global view and everything? If we talk about popularity of lines, I mean, this is where we were stuck last time before the break. The question is, and I think this also came in via our chat. What is the most successful line right now, or is this something you can only divide by region or model? Let's go more into detail. Is there a model? A certain model?
yeah, I think it's quite popular is our C line, the latest models. So C38, C42. These are the models which are built the most in the production at the moment. And this is also highly requested in the market, in charter and also for owners. As David already has mentioned, our dealer in Norway has done a good race with his C38, which is quite popular for the C line and for this model. So this helps a lot, and there is a high request on these models. But also there is a request on the cruiser line, which is our older line, but it's still very popular, especially for charter. It's very attractive for charter companies. It's well known in the market. So it's hard to say what is the really most popular model, but I think it will be, or it is the C line and the C38 and C42.
Is there a difference between the, say, different regions? Like in Europe, you can say, oh, the 42 is more requested, or the smaller boats anywhere else? Is the US market a bit different?
So in general, there is, of course, a difference between Baltic Sea, for example, and the Mediterranean. So in Mediterranean, I think it's well known that that there are bigger boats in general. And in the Baltic Sea, if you have a look to Denmark, for example, it's hard to get in with a like mid 50 feet sailing yacht in the small, nice harbor in Denmark. So it's better for a boat which is like the C38. which fits good for Baltic region. So I think bigger boats, especially for Mediterranean, also for Australia, for example, because you will be directly offshore sailing if you will leave the harbor in Australia. And by that, of course, like 50 feet boat, mid 40 is more suitable for Australia, for example.
What's your impression, let's say, I mean, if you are like dealing with sailors all around the globe, is the demand is different? Is the demands, are there, let's say, things that are in focus from an US sailor or from an Australian sailor compared to European clients, let's say?
I think it's quite nearly the same all over the regions. The focus is, of course, in general, on easy sailing, easy handling on sailing boats. Navigation software is a big thing in general. I think it's very important for owners and also for charter that it is easy to do the navigation on board. I think the normal paper
chart
is nearly has disappeared. So it is important to have a good and solid navigation software, which is important for all regions. So it's important for China, for Australia, and for Mediterranean as well.
So maybe there's another shift in the whereabouts. It's more a question of, let's say, a timeline. I mean, do you have the feelings that if you take a look at your models at the cruiser and how it was developed and what are the main assets of the cruiser line, if you compare it to the sea line, for example, did the client also, or let's say not the client, but the owner and his demands change over the years if
Yes,
they do
definitely.
not do globally?
Yes, definitely. So if we look in the past, for example, like 1990, there was boats in general were smaller. So I think the focus over the years is more to have more comfort on the boats. If you see in the past, for example, there has been no boat with a shower on board, for example, and nowadays nearly every boat has a shower on board.
Sure.
So also the navigation software again is a topic.
Is space a topic?
Space
below, space on the deck?
Space on board, space below the deck is definitely a topic. So if you see the C38, for example, it's much wider than a C38 in the past, for example, or a 38 feet boat in the past. So there is much more space below the deck, more cabins, more comfort for every owner or every charter guest. It's every person on board has its own bathroom, for example, which is a trend which was not there in 1990, for example.
Is it space before sport? Can I say that?
No.
Can't say that. I mean, it's a combination.
It's a combination. It's always a combination. So we are in a cruiser segment in boating. We are not in performance boating. We are not building carbon yachts for winning a one-day globe race. So we are for comfort, but also a combination to have a good performance on the boats. Of course, you want to sail fast. This is also something what people and owner are requesting. So
okay, so if we take a look at sum all of this up, we say high-end navigation.
Yes.
High-end navigation. We have a demand for space, personal space, right? And this is all what you try to let in the put into the design of the new lines. This is what meets the new demands. This is the trends that are arising.
Yes.
Autonomy, autarky, is this a topic? Let's say more water, water maker, for example, something like this.
So it is requested more on bigger boats, But for example, a generator is on nearly every big boat, nearly a standard if you order a boat, to be outside, have all options you have to have air condition running. So this is also something which is a topic of comfort.
Okay.
And this is also, yeah, it's a trend, I think, to be autark, to have electricity on the
Okay,
ocean.
to be more autonomous on every kind,
Yeah.
I guess. Okay. There are some questions running in. They are just some kind of sales question, really, but maybe I can ask them to you at this point. Why should I buy a Bavaria and not from another boatyard?
I think Bavaria is a very solid boat. We have a good know-how in building boats. We're doing this not since yesterday. We're doing this for a long time. So
As we mentioned already, yeah.
the quality is very good. It is a solid boat. We are not in a very high price segment, which is also a good thing, of course. If you want to buy
value
a
for
boat,
money, if you got it like this,
Yeah,
yeah, for sure, yeah.
it's our slogan over the past years. So
Okay. What is the current delivery? What are the current delivery periods? If I take, for example, these are a bit older ones. Let's say a CR34 and a 37. Is that right? I have to ask my colleagues. Yeah. Yeah.
Cruiser 43, Cruiser 47. Yeah, it's like it's 18 months, something
18
like
months,
this.
something
It's
like
still a quite long time. But yeah, this is good for the industry, at least good for us to have a huge order income. We are seeing at the moment a trend that the lead times are going a bit down, which is good for the owner and for the charter market, at least.
So, Yannick, thank you so much at this point. And we have a little break and have a look at any questions rushing in from you guys.
Für eine echte Bavaria braucht es viele Komponenten, aber vor allem braucht es eines: den richtigen Antrieb. Nur wenn komplexe Prozesse effizient ineinandergreifen, entsteht Qualität in Serie. Und dann werden lang gehegte Träume zum Leben erweckt. VR Bavaria.
So, welcome back, Yannick, because he was our person, our go-to guy to answer this question that was raising in. What sailboat do you recommend for a group of 8 to 10 people for a charter in the Mediterranean? Okay, maybe I could answer this too, but let's keep it to the experts at this point.
So yeah, I would suggest a bigger boat, of course. If you want to go out with 10 people, it's important to have 10 beds on board, obviously. So I would say it's a C50, for example. Would be a very good boat in this size. You have a lot of space below deck, on board, a huge bathing platform. So you're well prepared for a good time on the water with the C50.
Well, I could not have said it better at this point. Of course, what also should be mentioned is have a lot of bathrooms on it, but the C50, there are many layouts that fit into this form. This is amazing. Thank you so much. Thank everybody of you at this point. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to Bavaria for hosting us tonight. Thank you, and hopefully we will meet again, whether anywhere on the Mediterranean Sea and on any sea around the globe or in a virtual way. Thank you so much. Thank you for hosting us.
Thank
Have
you.
a nice day. Bye-bye.